Hello everybody and welcome to my all-new second channel, JayEmm Friends, inventively titled because I am JayEmm and these are my friends. This is Anthony and his son Damani Marcano from the channel Sports and Touring. Over the last few months, they've been helping me behind the scenes quite a bit, particularly when it comes to filming the cars that I get from manufacturers. The press cars. On a few occasions, while we've been doing the drive-by shots, Anthony's also filmed a little vlog for his channel, talking about the filming experience and also the car that he's driving. I figured a fresh perspective on any car is always a helpful thing. So we've decided to make this a little bit more formal and started a new series for this channel called, inventively, Second Opinion, where you're going to be getting the feedback from him and his son on the car that I'm driving that week. A way of getting another look at a vehicle that I've been reviewing and hopefully maybe a little bit more information that maybe I missed out. Because this is a new and very exciting venture for us all at this early stage in the game, I'd urge you to hit that subscribe button, but more importantly, whether you've liked the video or not, give us your feedback because the comments we receive at this early stage will help shape the future of the channel going forwards. So then, what is it I'm leaving the guys with today? It's this beautiful Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, Italy's super hot super saloon. But what do they think of it? Over to the guys.
So we've spent some time with the car now and we've gotten used to it a bit. There are some things we love about it and there are some things that we don't. But before we talk about any of the driving, we've got to talk about one of the first things that comes to mind with any Alfa Romeo, and that's the looks.
Well, here we are, sitting in Vince's Italian restaurant.
Only right we brought an Italian car to an Italian restaurant run by Italians.
We've got our cappuccinos, and I'm just looking at the menu.
I think I know exactly what you're going to be ordering. We watched Jeremy Clarkson's review of this car on the Grand Tour, and he kept calling it the Quattro Formaggio, obviously being the idiot that he is.
I personally think it's gorgeous.
Well, I think that's what always stands out with an Alfa Romeo. There's so many Alfa Romeos in the past that we loved. You've always loved the SZ. It's just a very gorgeous design, and they've always done so well with their design. The 8C, undeniably one of the most beautiful cars ever designed. The 4C, a very modern-looking mid-engine sports car, and obviously the classics like the Spider. But on this car more specifically, I just think they've got the proportions so right.
Except for one thing. Now, I said this before we'd rewatched Clarkson's review, and I actually think the wheels are a bit small. They're 19s. I feel like they could be 20s maybe, although you've got a different opinion on that, don't you?
I'm a big fan of smaller wheels and chunky tyres. It gives it that race car look. I think slightly chunkier tyres would fix that and it would give it a very aggressive stance.
So what do we not like about its design? Is there anything we don't like?
I'd say that if anything, the headlights are slightly too big. Other than that, I think they've smashed it out of the park. I love the front splitter and the fact that it's active. I think that's a very cool design. The only thing, and I don't know if this is a spec option, I hope that you'd be able to spec this, but the rear diffuser, I just wish it was in carbon, because you've got the carbon front splitter, the carbon side skirt, the carbon rear lit, and then this black plastic diffuser. I just think if they had the carbon flowing all the way around, it'd be perfect. I really hope and pray that is actually a spec option. You're spending a good £70,000 on a four-seater saloon, so you'd want to make sure that it feels like a £70,000 car, and I really do feel like it does. Even on the inside, you've got leather Alcantara everywhere. The steering wheel looks really nice, Ferrari-esque with the start-stop button on it. And you've got nice carbon fiber panels there. I think they've done a really good job overall of making this car feel like you're getting what you get for your money.
The lines, I think, are beautiful. I like the way that the carbon fiber on the side skirt kind of sticks out. It gives it a kind of muscular feel to it. And of course, that grille, it's kind of in your face. And it's one of the few cars where the number plate is offset to the side to preserve as much of that front face of the car as possible.
I think that's enough about the looks on the car because I think we can all agree that it's a great looking car. But let's get some pizza, let's get that Quattro Formaggio, and then let's hit the road.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, delicious. Thank you so much to Vince's Restaurant and Bar in Waltham Abbey for hosting us this morning.
Right, shall we hit the road and find out what it's really like to drive then?
So the interior, I think, is quite a nice place to be.
Yeah, I really like the interior. It's got that sporty feel, yet that comfortable luxury feel, especially in A, out of the DNA modes, the advanced economy mode. Suspension's soft, exhaust is quiet. You can crunch those motorway miles and just have a very pleasant time.
When we were on the dual carriageway earlier, I was seeing MPGs as high as 38 miles per gallon, which I was quite shocked by. On town roads, it just, in advanced economy, just feels like a very sort of chilled, luxury saloon. The modes that I'm most interested in are actually dynamic and race. In dynamic mode, it gives you slightly weightier steering, better throttle response, but the steering has a pretty decent amount of feedback. Not as heavy as I personally would like. In a mode like this, I want a little bit more weight on the wheel just to give you that more sporty, dynamic experience. But what I do like is being in manual, because these shifters, they feel very good. I mean, they're proper metal, probably aluminium. They actually feel solid when you click them. In this dynamic mode, it gives you slightly sharper shifts, but for an auto box, pretty good. And at the moment, we've just got it in the stiffer suspension setting, which you get by default in dynamic. Press the button. Can you feel the difference from the passenger seat?
Yeah, it feels slightly softer, you know, slightly more comfortable. I guess that's if you're on a road that is just a little bit too bumpy, but you still want to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Well, because, you know, it's all about keeping the tyres in contact with the road. Now, something that I noticed in dynamic mode and natural mode is it does seem to hold back a lot of the power. Like, I was just in second gear. Let's just slow down a little bit. So we're kind of at 4,500 RPM right now, and I come through here, and it just doesn't give you all of the power, does it?
There we go.
Then it kicks in, kind of pulls in the middle of third gear. Now, I don't know if that's something to do with, I don't know, traction or boost by gear. It's definitely not giving you everything that it's got.
So it seems that the only real disadvantage with dynamic mode is how much it holds the throttle back.
Be interesting to see if in race mode it gives you a little bit more. In race mode, it switches off the traction control, both the stability program and the anti-slip. Turn and hold. It's now in the stiffest suspension setting. We're in second gear again, 4,000 RPM. Whoa! Yeah, definitely not holding anything back now. And that's kind of awesome, but also kind of scary, because in race mode, it switches off both the stability program and the anti-slip.
Race mode is Alfa Romeo's way of basically saying, don't put it into race mode unless you've got the talent to do so.
It's really a stark difference between how much power it takes away in dynamic in those lower gears. Around 5,000 RPM in third gear is when you actually get finally given all of the power that it actually has to give. Like nothing. Yeah, now it pulls. Whew. Whereas in race mode, Jesus Christ. Whoa.
From the passenger seat, I felt it wiggling a little bit as well.
Yeah, it does. It does squirm. It's not, you know, unmanageable. And to its credit, you can feel the chassis telling you what's going on, what it's trying to do, and maybe where you're asking slightly too much of it. This is where Alfa have potentially missed a trick with this car. There are some people who might be, I don't know, conscious of switching it into race mode on the basis that it completely switches off ESC. I want a button that gives me all the good stuff of race mode, but with the option of having at least some stability, some traction. It doesn't have to be fully on. It could just be a slightly less restrictive ESC. And not only does race mode give you that extra surge of power, it changes the throttle response, it changes the braking response, because this car has brake by wire. It has a shorter brake travel. It's one of the first things I noticed when trying this car. I'm not sure if I like it. Oh, just the power on that is just nuts. But you definitely have far less distance to push that brake in order to get this thing to stop. I've literally fallen for this car.
The only issue I think is if you were really considering going to buy one, you'd walk into that Alfa dealership, and just as Jeremy did at the end of his review, he'd look at that 4C and go, let me give that a try. And on that bombshell, let us know in the comments, what 4-door saloon would you guys have? Would it be one of these, or would it be something else? Also, a massive thanks to Vince's Restaurant and Bar for hosting us today. If you want to check out JayEmm's review, then check out his video in the description. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, choose all notifications so you don't miss when we next upload. And we'll see you guys next time on JayEmm Friends. Bye-bye.